by going out for a bid again, we have a potential to get more responses? Because it sounds like maybe by now there'd be even fewer.
There could be a couple more, and there won't be a whole lot more, but maybe a few more bidders that would come through.
Can I ask a question real quick? But in the end, we're still paying the company $50,000, and whoever they get, they get. It's not, the broker's not making more or less based on that.
Mr. Mayor, that is correct.
Okay. I have some from the public. I closed public comments, but if you want to say something, I'll open them real quick.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not accustomed to this necessarily. I'm Gordon DesCombes, Executive Vice President with Alliant Insurance Services. I've been involved in the company for 27 years, so that would go back certainly beyond the 1990 that we started doing work with the city. And I guess I have been involved with public entities all my life on this side of it, and I've actually never seen a process where there would be a change in brokerage without more due process, I suppose, and recommendation where there was some vetting of the pros and cons and going with different firms. So I guess I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about our performance, but you know, we are the largest broker working in the public entity arena in California. This is our area of expertise, and I just don't quite understand the decision process that's been asked of the city council tonight.
Okay, well, just to make it real clear, this issue's been coming up for months, and we've had this thing, I think, 2 or 3 times on our agenda. So it's, for whatever reason, there's a concern that they want to go to a different broker. They have been with your firm for 20 years, and I think it was just a matter of maybe there's a change. I'm not really sure, but the look and the thickness of the RFP and the work has all been gone through. And so it might be a surprise to you right now that we're here, but this has been vetted heavily in the city.
But is staff recommending a change, or is staff recommending something other than that?
Staff doesn't set policy, the council does.
I understand.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
please.
staff is actually recommending that we go out for another RFP because I don't believe they're happy with either one. That's really not my concern. My concern, and I'll be honest with you, sir, you have had the contract in Costa Mesa for 20-something years. We have not gone out for RFP in a long time, so it's just been renewed over and over and over. And doing some of my due diligence over the last couple of years, there's several insurance companies out there that were never contacted by your brokerage firm for bids. And a brokerage firm's job is to get us the best bid they can from all the companies out there. And so as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe you've done the job that we need done, and that's why I'm recommending changing to another company.
Well, I respectfully disagree. It is our job, and we have searched many companies over the years at various times, direction from staff to do so or not to do so, but that's fine.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
please,
can I ask you a question?
please.
Can you talk a little bit about the issue you had with LAUSD a couple of years ago?
Certainly.
The audit that was done by...
Correct. There was an audit done. Unfortunately, the staff at LAUSD and our brokers involved in that had agreed to a change in structure of compensation and agreed to have us do some additional work on behalf of the LAUSD. That agreement was in writing. There are emails that confirm that agreement with the staff. Regrettably, that did not get placed into the contract, and so when the audit was done, there was a disconnect between what we had been paid based on the email and other meeting agreements and written agreements, but they did not make it into the contract. So there was an issue raised by the auditor because there was a difference between the written word of the contract, which in fact there were even drafts of amendments to the contracts that hadn't been yet executed that would have taken care of the problem, but unfortunately that was the case. I would like to note that we have been the broker for LAUSD for about the same period of time that we've been the broker here. We continue to be their broker, and in fact a few weeks ago they added a new 5-year contract for their construction projects and honored our firm with that contract as well.
One of the questions I had was, besides the fee, which Alliant, I think it was $50,000 or $60,000, are there any commissions on top of that on any policies you place?
Not to my knowledge. If there are any, they would have been returned under the agreements of the contract. There are some small, very small policies that I think may be an exception to that. For instance, special events policies that the public pays when they come and use your facilities. I'm not, I don't want to
Sure.
speak incorrectly here about the very specific terms of our
You're not
contract.
sure, or no, or
I'm
you're
sure
not?
we have not taken any commissions that we were not supposed to take. That I'm
Okay.
certain of.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else from the council?
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Under the circumstances, I just think it would be prudent to go back out and get more proposals to get a broader range so that we can make the best fiscal decision regarding how to spend this money. I think to just have default, because we've been using Alliant, and then default to the next one is not really doing a good job.
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
While this has been hanging out there for a long time, at the same time, at this point, we're looking at an original RFP that went out August 17th of 2012. And so we're at 10 months out now. And while it's possible that things haven't changed much, in the ensuing 10 months, there may be other firms that may be even regretting that they didn't bid on Costa Mesa. So I would support that we would go out for another RFP, and I also would hope that in the future, and I know this is partly due to the council, that we wouldn't be looking at this much of a gap between when the closure of proposals occurred and when we were actually trying to make a decision, because staff obviously tried to get this completed in a timely manner that would have allowed us to rebid it, say, last January, if we so desired, but I think it's as much due to us as to anything. So I think we should rebid it anyway.
Well,
Mr. Mayor.
I'll just have to say that I
Yeah.
completely disagree with that statement. This council pushed very hard to get this process done. There's no doubt that we weren't happy about how the process went. We weren't happy with the staff's recommendation. We weren't happy with the scoring. This council has been asking for this item to come back. It is finally back on this, and I do not in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You know, I'm not here to blame people, but if you're going to say it's the council's fault, it is absolutely not. The council's been pushing to get this thing done, and we just need to get this thing done. So with
Mr.
that,
Mayor.
unless we have a comment different, I'm going to call for the question.
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if I had a second, so
Yeah,
I need to remake,
I'll second that, but if you could just, if you could further define what your.
redo the motion would be to,
Yeah, public hearing's closed. I need to close the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I wasn't trying to blame anybody, but I was just saying that for various reasons, there's a big gap in time, and we should make
Oh.
sure that that doesn't happen.
I acknowledge I'm very sensitive. Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
okay.
the motion would be to award the insurance broker contract to Arthur J. Gallagher and also continue to use, as in the alternatives, Wigmore Insurance Agency for the workman's comp.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Call for the question.
Motion passes 3-2. Councilmember Gannis and Councilmember Lees voting no.
Okay, item 15.